Mike back again, talking about my real estate journey and the reasons why I went into real estate and why I originally bought my first property. I was 23 at the time. And why did I buy my first property? Because I needed somewhere to live. The second thing is, the reason I bought the property is because if you don't buy property, you tend to waste your money. If you don't have a mortgage or something where your money needs to be paid, you just blow it. So from a young age, I bought that property and I had it for a while, and then 3.5 years, and I sold it and travelled around the world. And then I went on and kept working and buying extra properties, and then mainly just owner-occupied properties. Then I turned about 38 and I had a few bad investments and I virtually had to start again. So what I did was I bought another property and I lived in that and rented out a couple of rooms to give me some extra income. And then I started buying investment properties, and I bought them interest only. The reason I bought them interest only rather than principal and interest is because you borrow the money, you pay your interest debt at the end of every month, and that's all you have to pay, just the interest. You don't have to pay the principal down, which means it gives you more money to be able to build up extra equity to buy other properties. So that's what I did in the early days, interest only loans. And when I'd get extra money, I would pay an extra amount off each month just to service the bank, and of course the banks want to see that you are actually attending to your mortgage, paying a little bit down. But the idea is to not pay too much down, because you want to leave more money for yourself as putting down deposits on other properties. So that's what I did, and over a period of about 3 or 4 years, I think I bought 4 investment properties and I rented them out, and I did the property management myself. So I saved the 7 or 8% there rather than employing a property manager. And so I learned a lot about the real estate industry, coming into it from a young age of 23, and then having to start again at the age of 38. It was pretty daunting, but I had confidence in the industry, and I had to make it work. Simple as that. I am a self-employed tradesman, so that gave me the opportunity to manage the properties, the time to do it. So over the next period of time, I've kept the properties and rented them out, and it's been wonderful for me. As I said to people, it can have down times if you get bad tenants, and they can cause you grief. But overall, when I look at the long-term strategy of real estate investing, you go through periods where there's no growth. We went through that for a while, for about 5 or 6 years, where there's virtually no capital appreciation in the properties. Then other times you go through the boom periods, which we've just been through after COVID, and properties have gone up, 40, 50% in some areas where I live. So it's been good, that part of it. But I went into it originally because, being self-employed in the building industry, there's not superannuation like a government employee. You've virtually got to make your own money regarding looking after your finances, and I really didn't have an interest in superannuation or the stock market. I've always had an interest in property, and being in property yourself, you can value add to your properties yourself by renovations, cosmetic improvements. It just helps, and it's much easier to do by yourself. And you can, you feel like you've got a hand in your own investment. And I found that it suited me the best. So that's what I've done. and my long-term strategy was always to hold them, hold the properties, not sell. I made those mistakes earlier on in my life, buying properties, renovate them, sell them. Then you get hit with the extra taxes, and it's in the end you find out no, property's a long-term investment. You're better off doing your best to service the mortgage and keep the property. The rental income, the equity you build up, it can all be used to further grow. So that's what I did, and it's been, for those of you out there who are thinking about doing it, the quicker you start, the better. But you've also got to put your mind in the education of it. I went to a lot of seminars, spoke to a lot of real estate experts. I spoke to my accountant. Obviously, you need to speak to the bank about your borrowing capacity. You've got to get the best deal on interest rates, etc. And as I said to you before, I did interest only in the early days. Then after a period of time, when you had the properties for a fair number of years, and you start paying down your debt. So yeah, it's been very good. Long-term plan was to buy enough investment properties so that I could set up a passive income from my retirement and live off the rental money, which I've done, which I've been able to do. So the beautiful thing about rental properties and the property investment market is that obviously as your mortgage goes down, you reduce your debt. That frees up more money. As you hold the properties over a longer period of time, your rental return goes up. And as you handle the properties yourself, you can maintain them, try and reduce your expenditure on repairs and that type of thing. So it's a long-term strategy. I'm not here to tell people about how it's a quick, it's a get-rich scheme. Just go out and buy some properties and you'll be a multi-millionaire. It doesn't work like that. There's plenty of people who try and spruik that sort of attitude, but it's not that. It's hard work, it's patience, it's making good decisions, it's being able to treat tenants well, keep tenants, find good tenants and retain them. It's about building up equity and holding it. It's all of those things, and it's reducing bad decisions. Because if you do make some bad decisions, if you buy in the wrong locations, if you buy the wrong type of house, it can stall your growth. So I've set about doing that, and to get the knowledge at that age, I had to go to a lot of seminars. I did speak to a lot of real estate experts. I did talk to a lot of investment experts, just so I could build my own confidence up to do this. Because a lot of people, of course, when they read about the investments, property investment, and all the do's and don'ts, they hear the good stories about people who have made a lot of money. Yes, they all want to do it, but a lot of people don't get started because of the scare factor of it. And you're right, you do buy property, you do have to have a steady income, because you do have to service the mortgage. If you do lose your job and you have to get a new job and that puts you financially behind, then that can cause, stress. So it's not all beer and skittles, but it's a patience game, and it's a strong-minded game. You've got to persist with it. And if you do persist with it and you get over the few hurdles, then yes, it'll set you up for a retirement and a passive income that will continue to grow, because the way the world's going at the moment, in just about every country, there appears to be a shortage of housing for people. So those of us who have property the market is very good at the moment for finding tenants, and the opportunity to choose the tenants that best suit you is very strong at the moment. And okay, the taxes on property investors can be quite high, but I've looked at a lot of other investment schemes, and if you're a property person and you've got an interest in it, I still think it's one of the best. So there's my summation on my experience in the property market. If you like what I say and you're interested in hearing my stories, then please push the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you again. Thanks for that.